Hilton George from Blerdcon.
And we're at MOMOcon. Tell me about Blerdcon.
Well, Blerdcon is a convention that's focused on blurred culture, diversity and inclusion, underrepresented populations in gaming, anime, cosplay, sci-fi, and comics. We were founded under the name of the Black Nerd, which is the source word for blurred, and so Blerdcon, based out of DC in our year 2, and we're here at MOMOcon representing and having a great time meeting folks.
Yeah, I've seen them. Dope panel. Look like a dope event. What does being a blurred mean to you personally?
Well, it means that we have a budding identity, as nerds of color, because for a long time maybe we did not live in an environment where being both black and a nerd could live together, and we often felt like we had to give up our blackness in order to be nerds. And unfortunately, a lot of us are still in the nerd closet. You know some folks probably who are into nerd stuff, but maybe would never step out to a con, or maybe wouldn't cosplay because maybe they haven't felt included, maybe they haven't felt like it was something that they could do. And we're out here letting folks know that the door is open and that there's an opportunity for everybody to express their geekiness. And we try to make sure that everybody is getting a lot of fun in and having a good time.
I can dig it. So you seem like a very experienced nerd, if I can say. How many cons you been to? Like, what's your experience?
I'd probably somewhere between 50 or so cons. The con world for me opened up in 2014, but I actually started going to conventions back in middle school, and I kind of lost my way, if you will. I got a little too cool, and I kind of lost my geek way, and then I circled back around to cosplay, which brought me to some conventions for the first time in decades, and it's just been a really great time, learning the con community, seeing this gathering spot from people from all over the country, all over the world at a place like MOMOcon. So from the bigger cons to the smaller conventions, it's just a really cool, open, expressive place, and it's kind of what inspired me to try to push forward and create a convention that maybe people can share a little bit of different flavor with it.
Since you've had like con experience, give me like a do and a don't of a convention.
Well, the basic do is stay hydrated and healthy. There's a lot of people in very close proximity, so it's very easy to get sick. It's not always perfect temperature, especially if you're cosplaying, so you might be sweating a lot or you might be cold. So you got to stay hydrated, you got to eat, you got to rest, just so you can have the energy to really enjoy the convention. A lot of the anime and gaming cons are around the clock with the gaming rooms and things like that, so your incentive to go to sleep is maybe not that strong, but you got to fight it, try to get a couple hours in. Try not to spend your rent money, because it's going to be hard, because you say, I got to have that shirt, or I got to have that mask, or, oh, I got to get those boots. But other than that, just, meet people, because, we're all geeks, and we're all nerds, and, we all have some common thread that is fairly easy to find, because some of us wear it on our shirts. We got our fandom, like, right on our shirt. Like, I got Black Panther, going on, and he's got Naruto happening, and, and you can really see who we are. And just share, make new friends, enjoy yourself, be open, and that's going to add value not just to your experience, but other people's experience that you're going to meet. And that's really what it's all about, community building.
Is there anything that you would like to share that maybe I'm missing on? Or?
Well, I mean, if you didn't sit in on the panel, Red, one of the things that I put forward is that, geek culture is the last religion. It's the last political party. It's untouched, which means there's an opportunity. There are issues out there that we have yet to broach, which means that people like you, me, and the people in this room, we can talk about how to fight misogyny and racism, and how to deal with bullying and self-expression, and people who are working through issues of gender identity, orientation, their ethnic background, and how these things can play into the whole you when they start becoming themselves, right? It's not going to be Scientology. Like I said, Scientology had a little window. It got a little weird, so we all kind of moved away, right? Tom Cruise did that. Too bad for him, right? There's no political party. There's no new political party that's going to come along. So the fact that we've got all of these issues sitting on the table that are waiting for the nerd and geek community to approach means that people of our generation can talk about, you know, fairness and equity in commerce. You know, we spend our dollars here with artists and vendors, you know, and we interact with people who are doing commissions for cosplays. You know, we are in a place to speak with our dollars in an industry that's still taking shape. Right. You know, so it's a challenge in one way because we are behind the curve on some of these discussions. Like even athletics has been at it for 20 years, you know, talking about Title IX to, you know, include women in sports. We're just now broaching some of those opportunities and some of those discussions, but they're ours to discuss, right? Not our parents, not our grandparents, not some grainy civil rights video. You know, we can do this, and we only have about 10 years before Disney comes and buys all this out, right? And when Disney comes, it's going to be locked in. So what do? We got to make sure that everybody here understands what are the rules around misogyny. What won't we accept in racism and bullying and marginalization? You know, what do we do when we talk about building a community that's going to make for the next generation of nerds, specifically black nerds who might not think that math or science or education is a positive thing? You know, how do we make the cultural side of that acceptable so that a kid that wants to be nerdy, you know, maybe wear the Naruto band to class one day and not have to worry about hearing somebody, you know, clowning you about it, right? Which is happening less and less, by the way. You know, you're right on the cusp. This guy's right on it, right?
Right.
But, you know, if we can make this burgeoning and growing acceptance of nerd culture something that we ride into the 21st century so our kids and grandkids come through and they already know, you know, what is the proper way to interact with people who are from different cultures and backgrounds. How do I appreciate an African-American perspective in writing? You know, we're already seeing, like, white kids, you know, 6, 7, 8 years old cosplaying Black Panther. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Right? With no sense of barrier between them and their favorite character divided by race.
Right.
Now, this is a complicated thing, race and everything like that, but you know what? That kid is going to be a better human being. It's going to be harder for that kid to dehumanize black people when his favorite superhero is black, right? And if you're looking at movies like Wonder Woman or even the women in Black Panther, somebody's really looking at that character and their relationship to empowered women, then they can't objectify women in the same way. So we've really got this cool opportunity to make something happen from the things that we're already doing naturally. And in a way, it kind of makes activists out of some of us. But at the same time, we're just having fun, man. We're just out here kicking it, and at the same time, we can move a bigger mission forward. So I love it. And, you know, guys like you coming out, doing stuff, and making your voices heard, this is an opportunity that, you know, you would take on because of who you are and the background that you come from as a nerd, that if we were at a sports event, you know, you might not pick up a camera and a mic. You know, like, you know, it's all right, but it's not something I want to do. But because it's something that's part of your DNA, right? Nobody had to tell you to like anime. Nobody had to tell you to like comic books. You just do. So let's allow that next generation to feel comfortable doing that, and they're going to look at guys like you and say, that's my big brother. Look at what he's doing. I can do that. Like, how can I emulate what he is enjoying by doing what I already love to do? So we lay that out, and we're going to have a really cool community of people out here that are just going to want to get together and have fun.
All types of kind, folks.
All kinds.
You seem like a real red dude. What book or books, if you feel like sharing more, would you gift someone? Would be like the first one, like, yo, you need to read this.
Okay, for DC fans, it'd be Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come. I know some people out there like, what about The Dark Knight? Like, you can't introduce people to Batman through The Dark Knight.
Right.
It's too much. It's too much of a tale in the future. Even though you saw the movie, it's a totally different thing. Kingdom Come, you know, the fight between man and gods, you know, I think is DC at its best. I think for comic books, I mean, the Infinity Wars, Secret Wars, Infinity War. I mean, those two stories kind of bring together the best and the most of the Marvel comic world, and that's why they chose to tell that story in the MCU. I mean, they could have told 100 different storylines in the MCU if they wanted to, but they chose the Infinity Wars because of what it did and how it brought the characters together. Civil War, Winter Soldier. Infinity War book would be the one I would introduce them to for Marvel. Yeah. So that's my Marvel and that's my DC. Indie label, you got to do Spawn. You got to do Spawn.
Got it.
It's supernatural. It's biblical. It's dark. It's like the first comic book that's like really, really, really dark and gritty. And for this generation that's a little bit more used to the blood and the gore as a part of their entertainment and stuff like that. Intro to Spawn, Seth MacFarlane doing or John McFarlane doing the artwork, and just so expressive and dynamic. I mean, that indie label thing, and I think those are pivotal moments in the comic book world that I would give them to I give them my grandfather if he asked me. You know?
I could do it from here. I guess it's us signing out. Would you like? Can you dance?
No.
Do you have a dance move though?
I actually don't.
Yeah, zero dance. Well, say it directly into the camera then.
I do not have a dance move. There's people who can dance. I can't do it.
Oh. Okay.
I could do it, but the moves I have would hurt me. Like, I can drop it. I just can't pick it
up.
Right?
I can dig it.
But if you do want to see somebody dance, you come out here to Blerdcon. This is going to be July 27th through 29th. It's in D.C. Focused on diversity and inclusion in gaming, anime, cosplay, and sci-fi. We've got an amazing lineup, and a lot of the discussions that we're having here are happening organically at our second-year con. With the Dora Milaje going to be guests. We've got Karen Ashley, the Yellow Ranger, is going to be there. We've got Kevin Graveau from Underworld is going to be there. It's just going to be some amazing stuff around the clock. And we're here hoping that folks will get on a plane, train, or automobile and come on up to D.C. and join us for the reunion, because we're doing something that nobody's ever done at a con before. I didn't say this. You ready for this? We're going to debut this here. You ready? Blerdcon's going to do something that no other convention in the history of conventions has ever done before at a con. You know what we're doing? We're having a barbecue.
You heard it here first. Barbecue, 2 steps, sandals, your uncle with the tall socks.
And no raisins in the potato salad.
No raisins. Carol's not invited. She invited, she just can't cook. Okay. All right, we're signing out.